Hey, what's up? This your boy Big Man. You already know what it is, man. So let's get right to it. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about Trina. Now, Trina is a rap legend from Miami. She came up with Slip and Slide Records. She used to rhyme with Trick Daddy. I even think her and Trick Daddy have a radio show and a podcast together. You know, she's stayed relatively relevant, I want to say, over the years, man. She was all into the whole hip-hop Miami, loving hip-hop Miami scene and all that. And she's done well, man. She's been in the game a very, very long time. I think her first breakout hit was like in 1999 or 1998 or something like that. And she's lasted all the way until today being relevant. But today she got some horrible news with the rest of her family. It seems like, according to reports, one of the members of her family, her niece to be exact, was actually shot and killed in a Miami neighborhood early this morning, man. Now, this is a tragedy to say the least, and the fact that the alleged victim in this situation was 17 years old makes it that much worse. Now, before we get to the specifics of what actually went down and go over the news story, do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and man, let's get it. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about this story about Trina's niece, man. Now, I'll be referencing an NBC news story from the local NBC affiliate there. And in the headline, they say this. They say, rapper's niece identified as teen girl killed in Miami shooting. Rapper Trina's niece, 17-year-old Tony, a.k.a. Baby Sugar Chester, was identified as the victim. Now, there's several news stories talking about this situation, and Trina has yet to respond as far as I can see and as I'm making this video, right? Now, in the news story, they go into great detail about the scene, what happened, and how this took place. So let's actually check out this news clip and then come back for the commentary afterwards.
Were fired early this morning in a Miami neighborhood, leaving a teenager dead and 2 people injured.
Family members are telling us the victim is connected to a famous South Florida rapper.
Want to get to NBC6's Jessica Vallejo, who has been following this story all morning long.
And Jessica, you do have some new information from relatives about who this teenager is.
Yeah, the relatives told me that they actually called her Baby Sugar. She was a 17-year-old teen that was shot this morning in a Liberty City neighborhood.
Okay, so far in the news report, we hear that she was in Liberty City, part of Miami, right? Now, Liberty City has a reputation as being a fairly rough place, man. Now, they're saying in the report that she didn't live in that area. She was actually visiting that area, but it's sad to say the least, man. And just because a place is rough doesn't mean like a tragedy like this has to happen there, man. Now, according to the reports that are out there, several people were shot during this situation, so she was probably not the intended target. It goes back to, man, sometimes being around the wrong crowd or being around people, and I am definitely not blaming the victim in this situation. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to this young lady. It's a sad situation that you can get caught up in, it seems like, when you're going to neighborhoods where there might be a crime element. And we don't know the specifics either, because as you're going to hear, there were several people who were shot, and, you know, a lot of people are coming out with more information as the time goes by. So let's look at this next clip about the situation.
Are you scared of something, Trina?
A young life cut short just after midnight in the area of 13th Avenue and 62nd Street. The city of Miami police say when they arrived on scene, a woman was on the ground and pronounced dead. About a mile north, police were investigating this Mercedes SUV riddled with bullet holes with the back window shut out. Police say 2 other people were also shot and taken to the hospital.
Okay, so in that news clip, you can see that they opened with showing footage of her hanging out with Trina, I believe, and it looked like they were having a fun time. It looked like at the ocean or something like that, maybe on a boat or something, right? And then it leads into showing the scene of the crime where there was a black Mercedes SUV that was riddled with bullet holes, I should say, right? And then there were also 2 other victims. And they didn't say anything specifically about the victims, you know what I mean, like their names or anything like that. But there were 2 other victims that were taken to the hospital in this same shooting, man. So those people might have actually been the intended target, or maybe even the vehicle might have been the intended target in this situation. But regardless, it's a tragedy, man. It's horrible to see this stuff still going down, and especially when you have a rap star like Trina. somebody who's made their imprint on the rap game, solidified as a superstar, as a legend at this point. I believe she was even on the Legend tour with like Jeezy and T.I. and all them, and have to come home to some tragedy like this, because I believe she was just on Drink Champs doing an interview with Nori and those cats not too long ago. I'm talking about like really big publicity out there, like she's solidified, you know what I'm saying? And it's horrible to see this happening. Now let's look at this final news clip where it seems like the police are once again asking for the community to get involved so that way they can get answers to this tragedy. So let's check out this clip.
Now, the motive behind the shooting remains under investigation. We do know that the woman who was pronounced deceased on the scene was there visiting. She didn't live in that precise area, but there's a lot that we're still trying to figure out. There's an additional scene that could be related also to the shooting, but we're still trying to figure a lot out. We are speaking to a lot of witnesses, but we yet need to speak to many more that perhaps know what actually took place today. The scene continues to be active, and detectives are still knocking on doors, still wanting to get more answers from what took place today at midnight.
So as you heard from the officer there who was speaking on behalf of the police, it seems like there's a lot of room in this investigation for help for the community, because they're doing interviews, they're interviewing people, they've already talked to other witnesses, but they feel like they still need to talk to more witnesses to get an understanding of what went down and what led to this deadly shooting in Miami. Now, she also said it happened around 12 o'clock in the morning, and it's wild, man, because I'm thinking in my head, I know it's summertime, but 17 years old out at 12 o'clock, visiting in an area that you're not commonly known, it sounds like a bad situation, you know what I mean? And I am not judging or trying to, point the finger at anybody involved in this. There are obviously victims or whatnot, but this is a horrible situation, and you just want to try to find ways to prevent it from happening in the future, man. Now, shootings will probably always happen, right? But when they're connected to a superstar like this, it just brings it that much closer to home. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully, man, Trina and them, my condolences to her family. Rest in peace to the young lady who lost her life. And this is a horrible situation. But y'all tell me what y'all think, man. I got a couple questions. Do y'all think that, due to the high profileness of this situation and the fact that Trina's a rap star out here, that they'll probably, put their foot on the gas and really try to find the shooters in this situation? Or do you think that, regardless, it's just, there's so many shootings that happen in Miami area, it'll probably, go the way that any other trial would go, or, any other case would go in this case, you know what I'm saying? But with that, this has been your boy, Big Man. Do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you get a notification every time I drop this hot content. And we out of here. Peace. Oh, yeah, man. And rest in peace to the young lady who lost her life, and condolences to Trina and her family.